Of Limerick's best-known sons was the author Frank McCourt, who passed away last year. Well, recently his brothers returned to Limerick carrying his ashes. You might say completing the life cycle in Limerick of the man who gave us the unforgettable book, Angela's Ashes. Our Jonah Sullivan went along to meet them.
It's their hometown, but worlds away from the city of their childhood. For the McCourt family, Limerick has always stirred up mixed emotions, and never more so than on this, their first visit home since the death of their brother Frank, the man who more than anyone else gave voice to a forgotten time and people.
A welter of emotions go tumbling through my head, and they are composed of equal parts of nostalgia and resentment. The city has changed. We were always looking down the Shannon toward America or toward England and or toward anywhere but Limerick, and we were embarrassed by being from here, but people no longer are.
Malachy, Alfie and Mike McCourt are all based in the United States, 3,000 miles away from Limerick, but not quite far enough to escape the inevitable fallout from their brother Frank's best-selling autobiography, Angela's Ashes.
Angela's Ashes tells the story of what he describes as a miserable Irish Catholic childhood.
The book has sold worldwide.
But the awarding of the Pulitzer Prize has brought great literary honour to Limerick.
I had to write this book to get this, because I think that people in Limerick, the poor, had a grace and dignity that I haven't encountered since. There was no whining. There was no whinging about their lot.
Alfie says he still gets sympathetic inquiries about his childhood from well-meaning New Yorkers.
In New York, people would say, sometimes would say, oh, it must have been terrible, oh, it must have been awful, oh, how did you ever survive? I guess as a reaction to that, we came up with our own kind of mythology. We had to invent the servants and the polo ponies and all of that kind of stuff. And, of course, we refer to father and mumsy.
Subversive humour is something of a McCourt trademark, and it's there in almost all of their recollections, from their description of their lane's communal lavatory.
So we call that place Buckingham Palace.
To their wayward father.
He hit the road and then the booze hit him, you know.
To the infamous Limerick weather.
I haven't smelled any damp since I came here. It's amazing.
That attitude was born on Barrack Hill, the brothers' first home.
There was a community of misery, it was a place of death, disease and despair, and sort of the laughter of the condemned, because we had no choice but to laugh at the absurdity of the poverty and the misery and all the diseases and the deaths that took place there. It was quite cheerful when somebody died, because, you know, if it's not yourself, it's perfectly all right.
This place was a beehive of activity of kids. The noise up here, kind of kids playing, yelling, girls swinging on the pole up there. There was always a fierce football, whatever, game going on in the street there. And then at the end of the day, people would gather right over there under that pole, sit and tell stories.
The family did leave Barrack Hill, though, for the nearby Carroll's Row, which lay in the shadow of St. Joseph's Church.
It's like a foreboding presence. It was like all the talk about Christianity and all the rest of it. There was very little. I sometimes think that as Catholics, we were far from being Christian.
Well, there was certain snobbery in Limerick at that time, and poverty, in a certain kind of way, they looked upon it as the result of some sort of sin, that you must have done something awful to be so poor. So anyway, they wouldn't let us be autorized.
The title of my composition is Jesus and the Weather.
What?
Jesus and the weather sore.
All right. Read it.
I don't.
The real terror in life, though, came from school, and Malachy still vividly recalls that morning walk.
We call it the Leamy Academy of Surgeons because they cut us up so much. But coming down this lane here, you're here and you were late because my mother could never get us to school on time. And so going in, and then you'd go into the classroom and the master would pretend to ignore you, and then he would reach imperceptibly for the stick very slowly, and with anticipatory gleam in his eye were about what he was going to do to you. And then it was the joy of giving you the slaps. Right, and your hands are cold now, but November morning and it's freezing. All right on the tips of the fingers. And then you're supposed to write after that.
It might seem strange that the brothers are back in their old school, but it's now an art school and gallery, and there's plenty of activity today as it honours the memory of its famous past pupil.
Well, I think he would be very amused by it. But on the other hand, you know, since Frank's profession became teaching, I think he'd be quite touched. Well, it's the first time I've been here without Frank. So it's bittersweet. It's nice to be here with the three brothers. My suspicion is it will be one of the last times, if not the last time, that they're all together in Limerick. You know, and on what I consider a happy occasion.
So we have some of Frank's ashes here, and he jokingly said at one period that he would, we should throw his ashes into the Shannon, and as he put it, pollute it, you see. So anyway, I brought home some of the ashes. Some of them are interred in a grave in Connecticut, and I've given some to Una Heaton here at the Limerick Gallery in her own container, which she's going to keep here. It's appropriate that he should be at Leamys School, and it will amuse him if he is around.
Whatever was, whatever is, whatever will be, I think we are of Limerick. We are Limerick, and Limerick is us. There's no changing that. That's basically it.
The great Frank McCourt, and a lovely man to boot.